To commemorate the International Year of Cooperatives 2012, the Cooperative Development Division, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour and Small and Micro Enterprise Development, have launched a series of events, including a 3-part distinguished lecture series, the first of which was held at the CLR James Auditorium at the Cipriani College of Labour and Cooperative Studies. The event was moderated by former senior economist of the RBTT Group, Mr. Hayden Blades, and carried the theme, Rebuilding Economies, Strengthening Credit Unions for this Responsibility. The event focused mainly on the importance of cooperatives, such as credit unions, as they play a critical role in the financial stability and growth of individuals within Trinidad and Tobago, as well as worldwide. Here to commence the deliberations and offer welcoming remarks was Commissioner for Cooperative Development, Mr. Carol Adams.
I also take the opportunity to welcome our presenters to this forum, where our focus will be on strengthening the movement to embrace the challenges of rebuilding economies which have suffered due to the actions of covetous mavericks. Mr. Michael Edwards, Ms. Yvonne Harris, and Mr. Kelvin Sargent, I welcome you all. I am most certain that your efforts today will solidify the efforts of the Ministry of Labour and Small and Micro Enterprise Development through the Cooperative Development Division to create a sector which will harness the spirit of entrepreneurship and the resourcefulness of innovation and build individuals and communities to be shining examples in our nation.
Filling in for the Minister of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprise Development, the Honourable Errol McLeod, was Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Carl Francis, who was present at the event to give some insight into the progress and growth of cooperatives, such as credit unions, locally and abroad.
The records will show that cooperatives provide 100 million jobs worldwide, 20% more than multinational enterprises. To put this figure into perspective, when combined, the economic activity of the largest 300 cooperatives in the world equates that of Italy, which the World Bank has classified as the 10th largest international economy. I am pleased to state that in Trinidad and Tobago, the cooperative movement has some $9 billion TT in assets and a membership of over 500,000. This is a phenomenal achievement in a country of approximately 1.3 million people.
Chief Counsel of the World Council of Credit Unions and Vice President for Advocacy and Government Affairs, Michael Edwards, was also present at the event to give the keynote presentation.
Credit unions, on average, are pretty small financial institutions compared to a Citibank, which is, hundreds of billions of dollars. We're tiny. But when we work together and we can achieve economies of scale where we can provide the same sorts of rates that can beat the banks and can beat other financial service providers.
Also in attendance was local champion of credit union sector development and specialist in sustainable enterprise development and job creation of the International Labour Organization's Decent Work Team and Office for the Caribbean, Mr. Kelvin Sargent, who also stressed the importance of credit unions and other cooperatives in today's economy.
Because given all the confusion that we have seen in the world, in the world economic systems, it seems to us that cooperatives have been identified as important channels in meeting people-centered objectives. It is the cooperatives that are concerned about people and the development of people. And therefore the ILO sees cooperatives as contributing to economic development. They are a source of jobs and livelihood in communities, and they are social organizations responding to the need for empowerment. Very importantly, without the cooperatives, where would we have been? If we didn't have these social organizations such as the cooperatives, who would have been looking out for the ordinary man, the man in the street, those persons who could not compete with the large, multinational corporations or the large banks, as the case may be.
Also present at the event to give her presentation was the first female president of the Jamaican Cooperative Credit Union League, Yvonne Harris, who has also served as a director of the Associated Chamber of Commerce of Jamaica.
Cooperatism was easy to accept in the Caribbean islands based on our African culture, which practiced self-help, where farmers who had very little money often had to rely on each other to do a day's work, or where persons would join together and save together in schemes known as, I guess here in Trinidad it's called Susu, Kumhan, in Jamaica it's called partner, or whatever name we call it in the various Caribbean islands. However, the church, and in particular the Roman Catholic Church, played a significant role in the emergence of the cooperative movement in the 1940s. Some churches began lending money to their members. There was the emergence of the friendly societies whose main objectives were to provide alms to the destitute. All these factors undoubtedly helped in laying the groundwork which facilitated the emergence of the modern financial cooperative movement in the Caribbean islands.
Concluding the evening's events was a panel discussion in which participants were able to pose questions to the three featured speakers of the event, as well as voice their opinions on the functions of credit unions and other cooperatives.
Well, one of the major advantages of joining a credit union over joining a bank is that as a member of a credit union, you're also part owner of a credit union. You share in, we don't like to call them profits, you share in the surpluses that the credit union has every year, and you are also able to make decisions in your credit union. As a member of a credit union, it is your democratic right to choose or to elect your board, to elect your committees, and thereby have a say in the running of your credit union.
And we must also remember that from the birth of credit unions, it was formed by people who were underserved by the banks, so the banks didn't think doing business was profitable, doing business for them. And these people got together and formed these financial cooperatives to service their own needs. So, it makes a lot more sense being in a credit union than in a bank.
I joined the credit union basically because of the cooperative philosophy that is involved with credit unions, where it's a member organization. Members are the credit union serves its members, and the very said members are the owners of the institution. So whatever benefits accrue to the credit union in terms of profits and so on are passed on to the members. In addition, obtaining a loan from the bank as against the credit union, it was easier for me. The criteria, the requirements, it was easier for me to get to the credit union with the credit union than with the bank.
The ideas and insights shared at the lecture series have truly highlighted the importance of cooperatives in today's economy. A message that will hopefully be embraced by future generations and provide a foundation of financial stability for years to come.